and possibly we may end up having some PPP arrangement where some of us, private operators, will be managing some of the public schools at the basic level.
Thank you so much. That's a very interesting point. I was going to ask you about scale, which you can disagree with
yes.
too, but I'm going to get back to you on that one.
Okay.
Kemi, I know you're also very interested in this panel because you kind of tackling the issue from the entrepreneurship angle. It's a bit that you've worked with the local government in Nigeria on. Give us your 2-minute pitch.
Okay, so my 2-minute pitch. Good morning, everybody. I work for a foundation called OOA Foundation. We're very new. We launched in October. And what we do is we focus on orphans and vulnerable children and vulnerable youths that are extremely poor. So what we find is that a lot of the children and youths that we talk to and we interact with can barely eat. So sometimes education is not even what they're thinking about, but it needs to be. So we have 2 groups. In terms of our strategic objective, it's more about poverty elimination and not necessarily alleviation. Everybody knows Nigeria, huge numbers of youth, and it's almost like a ticking time bomb for us. So what we've done is we've broken our intervention into impact investment childhood intervention. So we actually work with orphans and vulnerable children between the ages of 4 to 10. And then the second group is we work with the youth between age 15 to 35. I don't know why some 35-year-olds still consider themselves youth, but it's Africa, right? So we have that. So in terms of solution, for the orphans and vulnerable children that we work with, we kind of have a 2-pronged solution to their education and bringing them out of the poverty group. And what it means is that we have scope group. We go into the communities, into the villages, and we think, oh, we're just going to go there and give them educational support, give them books and exercise books and tennis shoes, etc. And we find that some of these children are HIV positive. They are the head of household to a family of 7. The youngest could be the head of household, someone like Usman, who is 4 years old. I met him last year. And we met Usman in the market. We were doing a baseline assessment and mapping for orphans and vulnerable children because we have this care and support program. Like I said, where we go in and give them support and step back. And Usman was selling kerosene. And he was the youngest in the row of kerosene sellers. And I'm sure you see that a lot in the market. Everybody goes to the youngest child because he's so cute and they want to pay, So we saw Usman and we wondered what he was doing there, not in school. This was in Ogun State, Southwest region, which is, it's not so much of a hard-to-reach area in Nigeria, right? And so we approached Usman, what are you doing here? First of all, we bought all the products he had because we couldn't even stand talking to him while this boy was hustling. He was selling the kerosene, he was counting the money so fast, faster than I could, and giving change, and we thought, there's something here, right? So back to talent development and identifying talent at such a young age. So we followed Usman home. He lives in a small makeshift hut, and he's got 6 older siblings. They're all HIV positive, and they're not in school. So we thought, how do we support Usman and make sure that he gets to the point where he can use the skills that he has, whether he got those skills from sheer survival mode or it was a last resort. The point is, Usman had the skill at age 4. So we gave him our support, but we also made sure that we enrolled in one of our charter schools where we could also inculcate entrepreneurship activities through sports, play. This is a boy that has never jumped rope before, for instance. And we needed to make sure that he understood what teamwork was. And like you said, the soft skills, communication, knowing how to talk and how to play well with other people and learning from his mistakes. Because a lot of our vulnerable children, the stigma is so high that when they make mistakes, they go back in and it's difficult to bring them back out. So in terms of early childhood impact investment interventions, we have that. The environmental and social skills that we have to invite in them, and the entrepreneurial curriculum. Our second group, which is the older ones, which you must agree is a bit difficult to change their mindset most times because of the experience they've been through. So with that, what we did was we introduced a 2-pronged approach to get into them. The biggest issue was skill, talent development, and also the will, the mindset for them to ensure that whatever environment they found themselves in, even if they were doing well, they didn't stop. So perseverance, passion, stick-to-itness, that was a big gap for us too, and we had to find a solution to that. So in terms of our youth, between ages 15 to 35, we did the skill thing, we introduced them to talent development activities. They learn, like you said, for over 6 months. It's not enough to do 3 weeks in class and then churn them back out. It doesn't work. Because there's so many other environmental issues that they're struggling with. Even just getting to the training center is a big issue, right? So we began to teach talent development, but the constraint there, which is back to what Charles was saying, was education. Not just education, but quality education. In the foundation, I have potential young people who want to come and get a job with us, and this young man or woman has gotten a degree, a bachelor's in software engineering. And he comes into the office and we're talking and he can't even turn on the computer. Those kind of things. It makes you cringe because you have a degree in software engineering, but there's no practical experience throughout the 4 years of university. So that is the constraint for us in terms of quality education. But what we've done is we've developed this social mobility enterprises campaign that we're doing now, which is basically you come in into the program and we train you for whatever skill that you're very good at or you have an interest in or what's available in that host community. So we find that you're learning, we're training you, but we're paying you from day one. And we found that has worked for us. Where you come in as a trainee or a participant to our program and you get paid immediately. And we found that they stay. So you get paid and you're learning. And then, of course, then there's the mindset. So we're struggling with that as well, where they're learning, but they don't want to stay because somebody else has offered them something else. So the whole issue is about changing their mindset. And the constraint with that is, of course, the security, the job security. So I want to tell you a story about a guy called Zega. We met Zega in the church. Zega was living a really hard life. He slept on the floor of the church. During the day, he would carry cement on his head. Most Africans here know what that means. You work in the construction site. You carry cement on your head for 8 hours minimum, and you get paid $1 a day. And so we met Zega and we introduced him to the program. And Zega was exceptional. He was on time all the time. He studied hard. And he was very innovative. So he gave Zega some seed money and he began to buy cleaning materials. And he started cleaning the church that we found him sleeping on the floor. After a while, Zega grew and he began to clean homes of the church members. So we were really excited about that program. We had success stories to tell. Zega started going to school, to night school. Zega got a degree. So Zega now had a small business with about 30 clients and about 3 part-time employees that he would send out to these church members' homes to clean. So Zega was in, right? Zega had street cred, like Elaine was saying. Zega had some money, so he could move up. He could actually rent an apartment for the first time in his life, right? When Zega graduated university, Zega pulled out of the program and went to secure a job as a security guard at one of the oil companies. We were devastated because this was our success story. He was an ambassador that our program was working. Why did Zega pull out? We needed job security. So we had to go back and flip our strategy around to understand that we needed to do some kind of social mobility enterprise that would bring in these youths, these vulnerable, very vulnerable youths, and build their skills to the point where they're learning, they're earning while they're learning, but at the same time there was security for them. Okay, yeah, there was security for them, so they knew that there was a path. They could see the path as they were going through it. It wasn't something that was in the future that they couldn't see.
Thank you so much for that. I'm going to get back to you for the challenges, but one thing that you bring up that's interesting is that in a lot of these development interventions, you go to the field and you're like, well, these people have nothing else to do, so let's try these things, trial and error. But what we don't realize is that there's a high opportunity cost for everything that you try. Actually, just recently, I read and the Kibera, like the biggest slum in Africa. Now, if you want to go and pitch your idea as a foundation NGO, you actually have to pay people to come sit and listen to you. So I agree with you, is that now you actually have people have an opportunity cost for trying all these kind of things. And even if you think that that's the solution to them, it's actually you have to prove it. So thank you for that. I'll get back to you. So now we have people who you can do a lot of things on the continent.